Hi everyone, it's Sarah and Amy from the Stoughton Public Library Craft Club, and this month we are basket weaving.
Woo-hoo.
Neither of us had woven baskets before, and so this is our first one. We had fun. So we're gonna watch as Amy starts to weave the basket. Amy, have you ever woven a basket before?
I have not woven a basket before.
So in your kit, you will get a bunch of reed, and you will cut.
It will look like this.
Yeah, round.
Big long strands of reed.
And that's a big bag that I just poured some water in to keep the reeds wet. Keeping the reeds wet while you weave is kind of the biggest takeaway from our first basket that we made. Because if they're not wet, they're not pliable and they will snap. So you'll get your reeds, you'll cut these 11 10-inch pieces.
These are the spokes.
Yes. All right.
Sorry, okay. So I'm gonna put each of the spokes through the hole, and you should have about 2 inches of reed coming out of the bottom. Take one of your reeds and bend it to the right to the outside of the reed next to it. And then if it's got extra, you can come back to the inside of the next one. So bend this one to the right, around the outside of its neighbor.
Oops, sorry about my fingers on the camera. So while Amy's weaving that one, that's sort of what you end up with. And our instructions say bend to the right, but I think as long as you keep going the same way consistently, I think it will work. So you can do whatever your handedness feels comfortable.
I was telling Sarah I'm left-handed, so things that flow in a right-handed direction aren't a natural flow for me, but we're making it work.
That looks great now.
And does that last one just get tucked in?
Yeah, just around the next one, into the next loop.
All right.
There you go. Looks great. All right, now, if you have your base done, congrats. That was probably the hardest part. And now Amy's gonna show us how we start the weaving.
Okay, so I have my long reed, and I'm just gonna start wherever, and you can go in the direction that's comfortable to you. I'm going to go clockwise, I guess. And we found that it's easier to move the spokes versus the reed. So you're just going in and out of the spokes.
Classic weaving, over, under. And so the reason you have 11 spokes is so at the same point you're always switching. So every row will be alternating over, under on each spoke. So when you get to your second row, can you pause, Amy? We'll show.
Sure.
Then you're doing the opposite. So one's under and one is over. So you'll keep doing this for about 2 inches or until your reed runs out.
Okay, I just finished this reed and I'm ready to get to my next one. So you just continue with the same pattern essentially. I'm gonna come on the inside of here. Oh my goodness, I hope they can't hear that. It's almost lunchtime and yeah. Could you see that well enough?
You want to take your fingers away, so, and twist it, so you can see there where
Here's
one
where it ended.
and so then there's two behind there, and then the next one just starts again. So you just keep winding around. And then the other thing we wanted to show was that right away one of the spokes broke.
Let me find the broken one. Here we go.
And
right here.
So because we didn't want to redo the base, we just piggybacked it for a bit and put it in line, and then trimmed the other one after we had gotten up a little higher. So don't worry, if one of your reeds breaks, just you can do a piggyback and keep going. Just cut another spoke.
And the other we noticed with beginning basket weavers, there's a tendency, there can be a tendency to weave a little tightly. And this is similar to when you first start knitting or crocheting, there is a tendency to do it tightly. So you can kind of think about that as you're doing it and try to do it a little bit looser.
And also another tip is, if your reeds are starting to get dry, fill up a bowl or a jug and then put your spokes in like upside down, so the base is out of the water but your spokes are in the water, and then that water will wick up. So give them like a bath for a few minutes, and that'll really help those spokes stay pliable for you. And just so you can see, after you wet your long reeds, your weaving reeds, you can probably keep them wound up in your Ziploc bag or a large bag, and they will kind of stay damp. So then the next one, whenever you start a new one, they'll be nice and ready to go.
Gotcha.
All right, so Amy just finished one of her reeds, and it's, I don't know if it's 2 inches, but when you finish a reed is a good time to stop and add your beads. So she's got her beads, she's adding them.
Shall we make a pattern with the beads, or shan't we?
I did just get you kind of a random assortment there. So Amy had a great idea about using prettier beads than the pony beads that we had for this project. So if you have some beads that have a big eye inside and they'll fit on your spokes, feel free to substitute that. Or if you don't like the look of it, if you look at this one, you can skip beads altogether if you prefer. Whatever you like, it's very flexible. If you want to get creative and use some different designs on how to weave, go right ahead.
Whoops. Okay, so now I have all my beads on, and it's time for ooh, that's a short reed.
Yeah,
okay,
I trimmed a piece off of it.
You'll notice, I'm sure, that your reeds are coming in all different lengths. That is just how they randomly arrived to us.
When you cut your spokes, you should pick the shortest ones out to trim, and then go from there. All right, I'm zooming in, Amy.
Okay, so this always takes me a second. Be patient.
So they overlap in behind, following the same sequence. So if it ended on a behind, then you have it start from that same behind and then go around.
Might have to do an aerial shot.
Yeah. So we've got kind of long tails in there now, but once you kind of cement your beads in by a couple rows, then you can trim them after. I did that with this one. All right. So then, once you get that going, you can pick your height. This one's about 6 inches or so, and then we'll show you how to finish it off. So far, so good.
Yep.
All right, so now we're gonna finish off the basket. Before you start, check and see how flexible your reeds are. If you think they're too dry, you'll wanna have a container that you've had all along for dipping your reeds into, and have them, okay, well, this one is
Not gonna fit in there anymore.
our basket flared a bit, and so you could do it in a bowl or a bucket, like a mixing bowl would work fine, just so you could immerse the ends of your reeds and then the water will wick up.
Without having the base in the water.
Yeah,
It's
because
important.
you don't want to get the base in the water. So, to finish off, similar to how you did the bottom weaving, you'll bend a reed in front of the next one, and they'll kind of hold each other down. So if it's long enough, tuck it behind the second one it goes past. So this one's going down.
So you took one of the spokes and bent it?
Yeah.
Okay.
A spoke, and then bend it around in front of the one next to it. This was the spoke that we replaced. All right. So I trimmed this last one, which is one that we happened to replace because one of our spokes broke. It was too long, so now it's the last one, and I'm going to tuck it through, and then we can trim it on the inside.
This reminds me a little bit of knitting or crocheting where you tuck your tail.
Yeah.
Very
so
nice.
There you go.
Whoops. I want to stand up
That's not the one,
and be
though.
counted. Oh, that was a different one?
Yeah, yeah. So there you go. We finished off the basket. That was my first time with basket weaving, and I assume Amy's too.
Yep.
And I am inspired. So,
Yeah.
I think we'll be making some more.
It's fun when a craft makes you want to do another one or a different style. And
Yeah.
I think we both felt that way.
Oh,
hello.
It's Sarah and Amy.
We got
We
our
finished
baskets.
our baskets. See if I can balance.
Oh.
Basket making was fun. We hope that you'll join us to show off your basket at our Zoom show and tell on March the 4th at 6:30. And then, Amy, did you have a couple of tips?
Oh, yes. Well, maybe. We learned as we went, kind of, because it was the first time we were weaving, that our spokes, sorry, I forgot the word.
Words are hard.
Our spokes kind of swayed as we went. So if that's important to you to have them going straight up and down, you might want to pay attention as you're weaving to keep them that way. But it adds a nice, unique touch to them.
Yes.
Good balance.
So, thank you. All right. We will see you then on March the 4th. If you have any questions, send me an email at sbukrey@stolib.org. Or otherwise, we'll see you on March the 4th.